Hey everyone, it's Justin here, Voices for Voices. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode and all the episodes we have up until now, which is 415. So it's truly a miracle to get to this point. We're so grateful for you to be tuning in show after show, watching, listening, no matter where you're at in the world. We're are heading towards the goal of reaching 300 countries across the world. We're over 100 countries across the world, and we're also shooting for um, 3,000 plus cities across the world, where we're sitting at about 1,010 or 1,011 cities. So with your help, you've gotten us this far, and the demand for the show has been off the charts, which is great. Our analytic numbers the last week have been just stupendous. And we want to say very heartfelt thank you. If you're able to reach out to 25, 50, or even 100 of your closest friends with a text message, uh, with a chat message on any platform that you have, excuse me, my nose itches. Um, that would greatly help us as well. And it's something that's free to do. So we're not asking anybody to spend any money if you don't want to. And that's your choice. And so if you're able again to, text 25, 50, 100 your closest friends, followers, or on another social media platform, let them know about the Voices for Voices podcast and TV show. And we would greatly appreciate that, as well as if you can hit that subscribe button, if you can give us the thumbs up, follow, share, like, all those things are also free, and we would be so thankful if you'd be able to do that. That helps us all reach more people, let them know that their voice is important, and want to inspire others, whether it's in a small way or whether it's in a gigantic way. Um, that's what we're here. That's what we're here on Earth for. So far, that's been, uh, I say, told to me, through my prayers. And you don't have to be a believer to follow us, to be a part of Voices for Voices. I'm just sharing my my beliefs. You don't have to you don't have to believe what I believe. We're still human beings, and we're still knitted together with DNA, um, and no matter what, we're going to pray for everybody in the world, because uh, we could all use as many good vibes as possible, because we know that the world can be cruel sometimes, and try to divide us. And we don't want to do that. What we want to do is bring people together and unify, not divide. We want to unify, and that's what we have been doing, which probably is a reason why we are the third most popular TV show and podcast, behind the Joe Rogan Experience and Dan Bongino's back in the game, the podcasting game, after spending his time as a deputy director of the FBI here in the United States. So uh, we're grateful to be where we're at, and we can't do it without you. So thank you. Mental health, uh, the different books we have available. We have a lot of great things going on here at Voices for Voices, and it's truly remarkable from a year ago where we were sitting at 160 episodes or so, and to be where we're at with having just dropped episode 415. So that makes us at 416 with this episode. That's remarkable. Uh, I guess I'd like to just talk about like why I'm sharing and why Voices for Voices. Uh, Organization wise, I wanted to help others and I didn't know how. And so Voices for Voices was the name, organization name wise that came to my mind. And I wanted to trademark it with the R or the circle around it with the United States Patent and Trade Office. And because I felt, and I still feel this way, that if I'm going to do something, I want it to be meaningful, meaning that I don't want it to be a fly-by-night operation, meaning we're hanging around because it's the hot topics, the hot words, mental health, and I'm happy and grateful people are coming out and talking about it more, but we don't know the prerogatives of everybody. And so I wanted to make sure that if I was going to do anything, I wanted to do it all the way, 100%. And so that's why we went the legal route because it is that important because we don't want people coming, taking our intellectual property. Uh, and while it's a struggle at times where people try over time, different ways, different methods. We wanted to make sure Voices for Voices was and is not a fly-by-night company. I've said it from the beginning that I want Voices for Voices to be a 100-year company, if not more. I know I'm not going to live till I'm 144. So in my mind, at the given point, we have, some succession planning, just like other organizations. Just because we're a nonprofit, excuse me again, man, just itching away. Just because we're a nonprofit, we still have to operate like an organization, like a business. Um, and and so that's why you see and hear us mostly towards the end of 2025 talk about different expansions of the organization, the different areas that we may or may not go into. Uh, we just want to have things set up. We did have the acquisition, pardon me, of mythical creatures around the world. There there was some confusion that mythical creatures around the world, the content and everything that was out there, that people could just take it and plagiarize, basically, just take information, copy paste into a book and sell it. And so we didn't think that was a good thing. We didn't think that was ethic ethical. And there could have been confusion about it. And so we wanted to stop the confusion. So that's why we acquired mythical creatures around the world. And we will do that when there are other times and places that we deem that to be happening. Um, and so that's a little bit of, the top down. And I'm starting at the top with the organization and then working myself down to, how, you know, voice for voices, uh, why I wanted to do it. I mean, I talked about it a little bit, right? Saying I wanted to be, a true organization that is backed by, again, the United States Patent and Trade Office. I want to be worldwide. So while we are based in the United States, we are a global organization, meaning that we're not restricting any of our content, any of our shows, any of our TikTok lives. We're not just restricting to the United States or, where we're headquartered or anything like that. That we are global, and so you've also potentially heard me say at one time or another that we want to help at least 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. And that's when we get into where we've already reached 100+ countries and 1,000+ cities across the world in a short period of time. Uh, we blew past the goal. Again, you've heard me say it time and time again, but it's worth repeating because it's just incredible, right? We talk so much in this society about things we're not doing right, and we can do better, and so to have a point in time where we did something really good that we we did it, and we ended 2015 or 2025 with 403 total episodes, as opposed to where our original goal was 300. So that's basically, 103 episodes more than what we had planned. For 2026, we're not really putting a number out there for how many episodes we're going to do. We know we're going to hit 500. That's a given for us. That's a given. Uh, we're not going to give, and internally we're not going to talk about any, numbers that way. Uh, we're going to do because we know we're going to do the best that we can, and there's going to be some times where we're going to do maybe an episode a day. There might be some times where we do an episode a week. Some might be an episode a month. I don't know. We don't know. Uh, what we do know is we're at least going to hit 500, and that what I would say is, I guess, it's a goal. We're not stopping there though, and so with us blowing past the goal from last year, what we expected to where we ended the year, that was it was just an amazing time. We were just doing so great, and we've started 20, I don't know why I'm stuck on 2015 and 2016, but in 2026, the year is shaping up very similar. Does that mean that we have the same total numbers? That, like, maybe not. But right now, it's not the number isn't that important. It is just making sure we're doing the best we can, and we know what we are. Again, we know um, what we can do, what we're capable of. So we're not going to put, a goal out there. Obviously it's going to be a huge uh, huge achievement when we do hit the total of 500 episodes. Uh, but we're just it's just something that I've decided we're not gonna do that because we know we're gonna do the best we can, and the best we can is awesome. So uh, I say that's that about the show. So working, way down of, starting the organization. You've heard me talk about the book, The House of You, Prescription for Living, and uh, of course, I don't have one sitting right next to me as I'm as I'm sharing this, but it's okay. Everybody knows where to find it. And actually, I'll pull it up here for us so we can see. Uh, we can see. So there's no confusion. I just I just didn't think to have it here. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a little screen sharing, and so you'll be able to see in case you haven't seen before. I'm gonna do that, and then we're gonna share. And so here we are. So this is the book. So this is it has my name as the author. Here's the cover because we're talking about helping people going through tough parts of their lives. Prescription for living doesn't mean you have to take prescriptions, that you have to take money or not take money, take prescription like pills or liquid. Prescription for me is different for prescription from you. So this is again the House of You prescription for living. You can get it electronically, you can get it on the Audible, and you can get it paperback, and it is 85 pages. It's an easy read in English, and we put it out in 2020. Uh, and yeah, you can buy it today or any day. It's also available on Ingram Spark and anywhere you can think of, uh, wherever you make your purchases for books. Uh, and so when I put that together, Voices for Voices what still wasn't a thing. Um, I got the book and they were just, and you've heard me talk about it before. So, there were obviously questions I needed to answer if I was going to write my name as the author, if I was going to ghostwrite it. And so there was all kind of back and forth, what should I do? How do I do this? How do I answer this question? How do I move forward? And what does that look like? Because there's a lot of intimate details that, family at the time a- and even now might not know. And I'm pretty wide open, an open book with, the mental health now of myself and wanting to help across, social media is what it is. And so I would say a lot of people, if they have an interest, they know that Justin has he's doing something around mental health and he's got some kind of show and uh just in general, talking about just people checking into social media that they get that now. So once I put that together, I wanted to do something more than just you have the book out there. It's kind of a static thing, so it kind of is like a point in time. And so there's through my life up until that point in time, hit rock bottom in 2017, and and then moving forward and until when it got published, and that's that's the book. So the memorabilia piece, I guess I would say. Because without the book, there'd be no Voices for Voices. Because I, if I wasn't comfortable enough putting the book together, uh, then again, I didn't want to be a fly-by-night organization. So I didn't want to have, a different CEO, different leader per se, every year, every 2 years. I didn't want that. Uh, there's a lot of great organizations, a lot of great people are doing a lot of awesome work. And it's not to take away from the organizations that do have, changes of, their executive directors and their presidents and all that. Uh, but for me, that's not what I wanted. I, I, I don't the organization as much for me as anybody else because doing these shows and the TikTok lives and all the different ways where we may or may not be branching out is a big deal to me. And I want to be I want to be a part of that. I don't want to just give it away to somebody, every couple of years and then uh because this is what I live and breathe every day. We all have mental health and I deal with mine every single day, just as we all do. Some days were great, some days are not. Um, and so my belief is that the best way for the organization to be is for me to be the leader of the umbrella organization at the top, and we can add pieces and parts, other organizations, other areas. We can do that. Uh, but at the end of the day, again, for Voices for Voices, it's so ingrained in me. It's in my blood, and so I I don't want to be rotating through, people and I'll just be upfront. There's a lot of people that uh they just want something for their resume. Like, oh, I was the CEO at this time, or I was the president. And those are good things. And it doesn't mean that anybody had ulterior motives at all. But nobody is going to put in the work, put in the drive, the determination any more than the person that started it. And that's the way I feel. And so nobody's gonna do that for Voices more than me. And so that's kind of how we've gotten here is it's not me saying I'm perfect. That's absolutely not. I never said anything about being perfect. All I'm saying is Voices for Voices is my baby. It's it's like an extension of my family. Uh, it's not, I am a father and a husband, and uh, it's obviously not as important as that. Uh, or those, it has that feel though from next thing up is Voices for Voices, and I've had great experiences in the workforce, and I've had not great. Some were my fault, some weren't, and I was seeing that nobody's having the passion and the inspiration than if it was like a family run company, so people that again started the organization. and they're still running it to this day, they're going to have the most passion. Everybody else is going to have passion to do their job and get a paycheck and have a title and all those things. But from a, when it comes to be a weekend, I try not to do a ton of work, but there's sometimes I do. But it's a different feeling when I do work for Voices than if it was to be somebody else's organization. And I know this is a long-winded way of explaining it, um, but I think that it's time that I'm sharing it. And if you weren't aware of those types of questions about it, how it started, with my mental health, and I got diagnosed with major depression, generalized anxiety, ADHD, ADD, low spectrum autism, and so I'm dealing with those every single day. And Voices for Voices is a way for me to help express my voice. Remember, I didn't say anything about being perfect. All I said is Voices for Voices is an avenue that I can use to share my voice, my experiences, events that have occurred in my life, and I share those. And sometimes again, we bring in, uh, we bring in guests, and they share their voices. Uh, some of them are political, some of them aren't. Uh, we tried to not be as political as other organizations because there's so many out there that are political, and we know that mental health isn't restricted to Democrats or Republicans or libertarians or independents. Mental health is mental health for everybody. It doesn't matter. And so you may see different shows where, well, you have this person on and their political affiliation is this, and then you have this person and their political affiliation is that. I've said it from the beginning, and I'll say it again. If you're a politician, you're in office or you're running for office, we've had Republicans and we've had Democrats. Okay? And I'm sure we've had independents without them saying and that. Uh, so if you see an episode like, well, Justin said they're not political. Well, we've opened the door to have people from all walks of life come on. Now, I can only recite that on this show. It's up for those individuals if they want to be part of it. If they want to, then they have to do the reaching out. This is my open invitation. That's what it is. It's my open invitation, our organization's open invitation to come on and talk about life for them. And so I think that's another important point to share again. I've shared it before, but it's been a minute or 5 or 10. It's been a while since I've had an episode where I've shared it. So I think it's good because the midterms are coming up in November, and others may be different. Some states might be different because of maybe somebody suddenly resigns, and then maybe there's like a special election. Uh, But yeah, that's another thing that I want to share, that I don't want anybody feeling like, well, he's talking to this and they did the award and they do these things. Like, you got to reach out. That's how we get our guests. We reach out. And then there's some that reach out to us, and then we see if it's a fit, or if it's just we want to just promote ourselves. And like, if you're not going to talk about mental health, or if that's not going to be a part of the equation, then we're probably not going to have you on, because mental health is the core of Voices for Voices. So if you just want to come on and talk about your books and all that, and just promote everything, and you can do that, but there also has to be a theme of mental health and trauma, because we've all had it. We all have mental health. So to sit here and say, well, no, that's not me, Justin. Well, yes, it is. If you're a human, you have mental health. Whether you want to believe you have a mental challenge, like a mental illness, that's a different equation, a different sentence, that's a different side of things. But to say that, like, oh, I don't have mental health, you're fooling yourself. We all have it. And if you don't want to talk about it, well, that's what Voices for Voices is. That's what this organization got started on. It didn't get started on politics. We're including politics as an element if that tends to be, not tends to, if that is, if that's something that you want to share, or if you want to share that you wrote a book, or, uh, we can do that. But we got to talk about mental health too. Because again, I didn't start this organization to turn into some political all the time show and organization. Like, we're not going to raise money for candidates, and that it's somebody comes on and they talk about their platform. They're also got to talk, how's this relate to mental health, and then we go on from there. So I think we covered a lot in this show. Again, if you could hit that subscribe button, we'd love that. If you can give us the big thumbs up, like, follow, share, subscribe. Please reach out to 25, 50, 100, 200 of your connections, in a group chat. Let them know about Voices for Voices, TV show and podcast. Let them know that we are the hottest podcast and TV show behind the Joe Rogan Experience and the Dan Bongino show. The numbers are showing it. Uh, and we just want to say thank you so much. You're going to help us reach over 300 countries and over 3,000 cities. We got nothing but love coming your way. We're praying for you. We're sending good vibes your way. And again, let everybody know about Voices for Voices. And so until next time, let's celebrate all the voices that we have, all the different ways, whether it's through the arts, like actual physical, like art, drawing, painting, whether it is art with music, whether it's sign language interpretation. There's so many ways to express ourselves through our voice. Not all of it, not all of our voices are spoken, that they could be expressed in different ways. Playing a sport, could be a way of expressing a voice. And we are so grateful to have you with us on episode 416. So until next time, this is Justin Allen Hayes, as always, your host, and be a voice for you or somebody in need. We'll talk to you next time. We love you.